Hello everyone, this is Norm here from Tested at Bricks by the Bay, our local LEGO convention. I've just met Eric Del Sesto. Eric, it's such a pleasure to meet you.
Nice
How
to
you
meet
doing?
you. Good, how are you?
Good, well, for you, this must be feeling great because you've been able to show off something you've been working on for the past 2 years.
This is the first time I've publicly shown this,
Of course, it's the Eiffel Tower. Tell me about this build, the construction of this, and obviously how you adapted this based on the real Eiffel Tower.
All right, well, I think a few things came together. One was I was looking for something with technique that I could build that was really challenging. And the other is because of COVID, we had a trip to Paris that was canceled. And so I was like, that was all mixing in my head. And I started to experiment in building just one leg. And I did 5 versions of that. And I finally settled on a leg that worked and I started to connect them. But I also realized that I could use these beams. Like this is the longest beam at the bottom. And as you go up, they just get shorter and shorter. So that single building element, I could consistently use the full height. And then also nice that it worked out that the structure is actually very strong. It's 45 pounds on its own, there's no glue, but I could put more weight on it if I needed to. I could shake it and it won't fall over. There's a lot of great tension pulling it down, and then it's held up really well.
And that's a testament to the actual design of the real Eiffel Tower.
It's really
where
similar.
the weight is distributed.
Yeah.
So it's all Technic, of course. You said it was based on this real long beam that you have. That determined your scale.
I built it from the original blueprints.
Oh, you did?
And so I wanted to match it as accurately as I could. So every span here reflects the span from the Eiffel Tower. Like every arch, the same number, the same way these come across. It's trying to match that really well, really accurately, both structurally and architecturally.
At some point, when you choose a scale, you have to. Things get so small, you have to omit certain things. Did you feel like is there internal elements, structurally or architecturally, that didn't make it, or did you get everything you really wanted?
I purposely didn't want to build something small. I've seen smaller Eiffel Towers, and I felt like I really wanted room to build the detail. And again, I was looking for something really challenging with technique, and I thought 8 feet. That's a good challenging technique model to make sure it's not going to fall over.
Yeah.
And at that scale, it's also large enough that I could start to get into these details like the original restaurants that were there for the World's Fair in 1889 and all the way up. There was enough room for everything, except I only built the elevators very recently because I felt there wasn't enough room inside.
So there are working elevators here,
There's
a system
3
of them.
Yeah, 3 working elevators.
But you added those in after the external frame was
I had built
done?
the entire tower, and I actually spent a month working on lighting. I was doing LED strands and a microcontroller, and then I shelved that project because it was just going to be too long. But along the way, I was thinking, I don't need these cross braces inside the leg. I could actually mimic the actual Eiffel Tower level 1, 2 elevator, which in the real tower has a curved track. The elevator actually changes angle as it goes up.
Yeah.
And that's what I've got on the front side over there that you were filming. And then up here, I matched the tandem elevators. They were originally Otis elevators in the tower. They start here and they meet in the middle, and then passengers would change and then switch off. The modern elevators go full height, but back then you had to change in the middle.
And so it's on a track on this first
the
phase.
level 1, 2 elevators on a curved track buried inside the leg.
And then the rest of it, it's on
dead center.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just on the string
like
that
a
go
normal
up.
elevator shaft.
Right. Wow. Oh my gosh. Was it all assembled in different sections?
Absolutely. So there's 4 major sections, and I can take the top 2 off in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
And then to fit it in my car, I separate it here, which is tricky, but it means we don't have to get a U-Haul. So there's 64 connection points here. Takes about half an hour. But then this whole thing, including the wooden platform, fits in the back of my car.
And it's just removing pins.
Just taking pins out all the way around
Technic,
here.
Right? Yeah.
The elevator shaft comes out as one unit.
Yeah.
So it can be adjusted.
Is it anchored to a base as well?
It is, yeah, good question. So once I built it to about here and I started to build out here, it got heavy enough that the legs started to spread on their own, just, a centimeter or 2. But in my mind, I was thinking that's a recipe for disaster. I want to stop that. So right now it has every base has 2 pins sticking into the wood platform. If I had to put it on a flat table, I could use just base plates to keep tension between the legs. And then at home, we display it on a plexiglass platform that's this big. without any base plates, and it has pins going through the plexiglass to hold it, and it's on our staircase, so you can actually look at it from underneath.
A little bit of foundation there.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, because here we get to enjoy it from this one perspective, but it's so beautiful.
There's so many angles.
Angles, right?
Yeah.
Like you see these wonderful iconic photos of the beams kind of foreground, background, over interlace.
Right.
And so how have you kind of documented this?
How have I
documented the finished build?
So 70% of it's in LEGO Studio. I built most of it just, manually putting parts together to see what would fit.
Yeah.
And then I would reproduce that in LEGO Studio to capture it so I wouldn't forget how I built that part. And some sections were like half built manually, half built in studio, like this whole level with the restaurants. So I could visualize the restaurants and where they were before placing all these Bricklink orders to get those specialized parts to make them look right. So it's sort of a combination. No one's asked yet, but I don't have instructions. I have it in studio, but at one time when I was halfway in studio, I tried to generate instructions, and I think it was 500 pages at that point. So it would be a very long instruction book.
Yeah. You said 45 pounds. How many total individual pieces, or roughly how many?
Just over 25,000 pieces.
Oh my God.
No glue.
Yeah.
All Lego parts. And
a large number of that, I imagine, the connecting pegs.
Oh yeah, that's included in the count. Yeah. Probably several thousand of the pins.
Just the pins.
Yeah.
Wow. And this isn't something that you plan on disassembling. This is a sculpture in itself.
Yeah.
And
no, I hope I will never repurpose these parts. It'll always be on display.
Yeah.
I might see if there's a museum that wants to show it or something like that, a venue. We will travel to some shows to show it. I might make some improvements on the elevators. I might make it easier to disassemble for travel.
Yes.
And then I might return to lighting, because that could be a really nice piece of it.
Absolutely. The spotlighting at night, Eiffel Tower looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
They kind of changed the lighting over the course of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is such a gorgeous thing. Did you have to, at some point, disassemble to go backwards in your build? Or did Studio take care of that problem solving?
No, I really did. It was very iterative. Once I had the four legs connected and I started to build this platform, I had to do some re-engineering so that this actually sits well on it, but it's not like these aren't forced out. They're all in the right place. So that took some re-engineering around here. And then the elevator, of course, I had to remove some internal pieces and shorten some girders here and there just to get the elevator to clear.
I see just the way you're interacting with it shows the confidence you have in the stability, in the structure.
I don't want to scare you, but it's solid. Yeah, it's really solid. Yeah,
that's an amazing achievement, Eric. Thank you so much. I'm sorry your family couldn't go on your Paris vacation.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
But this is a wonderful result of that.
Sure,
It's
appreciate
a pleasure
it.
to meet you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Adam Savage from Tested here. If you've ever seen the 6-inch ruler in inches and centimeters on my forearm and wanted one of your own, but you didn't want it to be permanent, well, today's your lucky day. You can now buy temporary tattoos of my measuring stick, my measuring forearm, at tested-store.com. Comes like this, goes on in about 30 seconds with a little water. The instructions are on the back. It comes off with rubbing alcohol, and hopefully it warms you up to the idea of permanently attaching a measuring device to your body, because I use mine every single day.